Joe Biden, I want to move on to him. He used an art ceremony this week to jokingly hint that he might be running for president again, saying, I'm kind of looking for back-to-back myself. Now, I don't even know what that quite means, but is he starting to push closer to, God help us, running again for 2024?
It depends on the day, James. As you and I have talked about, we mentioned before, is that it swings back and forth. It just swings much faster for Joe Biden. So this week he's feeling pretty good. Of course, late today in this country, some really terrible polling data came out for Joe Biden. And I think more folks are, again, today more than yesterday going, do we really want to go with this guy? I was at an event last night here in Capitol Hill with Republicans and Democrats, and even the Democrats are starting to admit that maybe Joe's past his prime and so forth. So, yeah, as of yesterday afternoon, Joe Biden was sort of leaning towards running for president. Today, who knows? We expected a formal announcement from him several weeks ago. He was supposed to make an announcement again yesterday and didn't, so he keeps sort of teasing it. I just don't think they've made up their mind yet one way or the other.
Yeah, well, I mean, and this brings up another problem that the Democrats have, which we've spoken about. Joe Biden may be on 38% according to the AP poll, but, you know, if you don't like Joe Biden, where are you going to go? If you're a Republican and you don't like Trump, you go to DeSantis. If you don't like DeSantis, you go to Pompeo or Nikki Haley or anybody else. Where are the Democrats going to find somebody else who can take on either a Donald Trump or a Ron DeSantis?
Yeah, well, it's not Kamala Harris, that's for sure, because as bad as Biden is doing, she's actually worse. And there's open discussion right now on this. Believe me, if I read things that are critical about Kamala Harris in the Washington Post, it means that every Democrat in town is talking bad things about Kamala Harris. And they're not very happy with her. They don't think she could ever carry the banner for the party. They've got some decent talent, James. There's some decent governors. The new governor of Maryland is a very talented politician, Wes Moore. Cory Booker is talking about running again. Jared Polis, a governor out in Colorado. So they've got some good next generation talent. But of course, that talent isn't allowed to flourish as long as Joe Biden is still, maybe he is and maybe he isn't. A Democrat, the last thing they could do is sort of be seen to try and push out, old Grandpa Joe out of the office. That would be death. So yeah, they are really hamstrung until he makes a decision.
But this is shades of the old Clinton problem. When the Clintons were around and then Hillary was going to be the plan, they could never develop their back bench, their deeper benches to have that next round of candidates. But you mentioned some of these reports. There was a really interesting report in Reuters I saw overnight where they were talking about how Kamala Harris, she's joined at the hip with Joe Biden, even though all these people have all these problems with her. And the White House communications director was forced to put out a tweet basically defending Harris and saying, hey, we all love Kamala Harris, but, I mean, where does this go if Joe Biden runs for president? Can he afford to keep her around? Or he's got the problem of, potentially knifing the first black woman vice president.
And that's the problem he's got, right? Which is she's tremendously unpopular, even with Democrats. She doesn't add much to the ticket. And if he does run again, his health really is going to be an issue. And for the first time in your and my adult lifetimes, who the vice president is, people might actually care about that in a national election. Ordinarily, they don't care very much. Kamala is not very popular. She's tough to get rid of because she's a double minority. She's an African-American woman. I don't think they could find another African-American woman of her stature unless they get Oprah Winfrey. But they might decide that, maybe an African-American male, someone like Cory Booker, someone like Wes Moore, could be enough of a replacement. But she's not very popular. If the Democrats get to the point where they think she's a drag on the ticket, then I think she goes. If she's just neutral and nobody likes her, then I think she stays.
Mick Mulvaney, thanks so much. I will disagree with you because when it's a Republican in office, of course, the vice president is always a heartbeat away, and there's always that focus on a Sarah Palin or a Dan Quayle or whoever it is. Mick Mulvaney, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. See you soon.